Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to tackle the comment creation functionality. So I have three main objectives. I'll highlight those first. We need to start by talking about something called nested routes. So I'll get to that. Then we need to make our two routes in order to create comments. We need a route for the form, which is new, and then we need a post route where we actually create the actual comment, which is called create. So new and create. And then we need the new comment form. Let's begin by discussing what we have so far. So I'm running the server. We have 3 campgrounds that we've seeded in the database, and I can click on one, and we have a comment. What we would like to do is also have a button that says add new comment or leave review or something like that. We click on it, and then we go to a new page that shows a form, and then on that form we can submit a new comment with an author name and some text and hit submit, and it will take us back here and we'll see our new comment. So that's the end goal. To get there, I want to start by talking about something called nested routes. And before I do that, I'll just highlight I'm now on v4 because we are going to be moving some files around, changing the structure a little bit. So I wanted to make it into a new version just so that you can compare those changes. So again, version 4. Okay, so let's begin by doing a review of the RESTful routes that we've seen so far. So we've talked about index, which displays a list of all dogs, and the route is /dogs, or whatever our resource is, /comments, /campgrounds, /users, and it's a GET request. Then we have new and create, which are kind of paired together, where all that new does is it shows us a form. And then we submit that form, and the form sends the data to create, which is /dogs, the same path as the index, except it's a post request. And then we have show, which is a little bit different, because there's a path parameter inside the route, the ID. And we need that because the whole point of show is that it shows information and details about one particular entity. So this works just fine. This is what we have so far. We have our index for campgrounds, which is /campgrounds. We have new and create and show for campgrounds. So we have /campgrounds, and then we have /campgrounds/new. And then we have /campgrounds as a post for create, and /campgrounds/ID for show. But now we need to add in some comment routes because we want to be able to add a comment. Again, when we click a button right here, it should take us to a route to add a comment to this particular campground, and that's the important part. So our route isn't actually going to look like this. We're not going to have new and create for comments that look like this, where we have /comments/new and /comments as a post to actually create. That's not what we're going to have because this URL has no information about the particular campground that we're adding the comment to. So this would work if we were just arbitrarily creating comments, but if we actually want them to be associated to a particular campground, which we do, we need to have the campground ID in the URL. So this gets to the first topic I want to bring up, which is nested routes. So what we can do is take these RESTful routes and combine them. And we can nest the comment routes on top of or after the campground routes. So our comment new is actually going to look like campground/ID/comments/new. And our create is going to be campgrounds/ID/comments. So what we've done is we've taken the campground and the ID and just put it before all of the routes that have to do with comments. And that's because a comment is dependent on a campground. We don't have comments that exist away from campgrounds. They're inherently linked. And inside the create, for instance, we're not just going to make a comment. We're going to make a comment and then we're going to associate it with a campground. So we're going to have to do a find by ID for a campground, and then we're going to have to create a comment, and then we're going to have to connect them and save them both. So we need this ID in the route. So all that's to say, we're going to use nested routes. These are the 2 new routes we're adding. So new and create for comments. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to change over to v4. Right now I'm in v3. So I'm going to cd out and then cd into v4, just like that. And then I'm going to open up app.js, and this is where we'll be doing most of our work. And we're going to start by adding in the new route, which looks like this right here, campgrounds/ID/comments/new as a GET request. and it should show a form for us to create a new comment. And we have a lot of routes, which again, we will be moving very shortly, but I'm going to start by just adding a little divider here, just to make it clear. Duplicate that, and then I'll just say comments routes. Okay, and we're going to add an app.get / campgrounds / ID / comments / new, and then our callback. And in here, we want our request and our response. And then inside, we're going to start by doing a res.send. This will be the comment form, just to make sure that our route is hooked up correctly. And if we now start the server, node app.js, and then we go to the campgrounds page, refresh, and let's click on one of these. And to get to the new comment route, we need to add /comments / new. And there we go. It says this will be the comment form. Now let's go back. Instead of sending back this response, let's render a template, and that should be new. That's the name of the template, new.ejs. But there is a problem, which is we have a new form already existing for our campground, new right here. So we can't have another template called new unless we make a small change, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to split up the views, this directory here. We're going to add in two new directories, campground, and we're going to add in comment. So we'll do that now. Make a directory instead of views called comments, and make another one called campgrounds. And you can see those two new directories here. And I'm just going to drag the files over to where I need them to go. So index is for campgrounds, new is for campgrounds, show is for campgrounds, and then we'll need to make our new.ejs inside of comments. So let's do that now. We'll do touch views / comments / new.ejs, and then we'll do the same thing but open it up. And we'll open that file up, and let's add our h1 that just says new comment form and save that. So what we want to do is see that when we go to this URL. So we have our res.render new, but we need to change it. It should now be res.render comments / new. It's not just new in the root of views, it's now inside of comments, as you can see there. And we'll also need to change over all of the other routes as well. So this needs to be campground / show. This needs to be campgrounds as well, and we don't need the .ejs. And then we have one more here. This one can stay the same, but index needs to be campgrounds / index. Okay, and landing is on its own because it doesn't belong to campgrounds, it doesn't belong to comments, it's its own thing. We'll just leave it where it is. And it's really pretty much empty still. We haven't actually filled out most of the landing page. So let's try running this code now. Node app.js, and we'll go to the campgrounds page, and we have a problem. You might be thinking that the problem is that Express didn't find the file we just created, the campgrounds / index, but that's not actually the issue. What the issue is, if we read closely here, it can't find the file, no such file or directory, YelpCamp version 4, views, campgrounds, partials, header.ejs. So it's not finding the partials that we're including if we open up the index, this right here. And that's because we changed where this file was. So we need to change how we're linking to partials, because we used to be in the same directory as partials, like landing.ejs, but now this file is nested inside of campgrounds. So we need to go back one folder first, which will take us from here up to here, and then into partials, and then header.ejs. So .. /partials, .. represents one level back, one folder back, just like when we do cd ... All right, and we'll do the same thing for the footer, .. /, and if we save now and refresh, this works just fine, but if we try and go to the show page, we have the same problem. So we need to go to those different templates campgrounds, new, let's do dot dot slash, and also show. We'll do dot dot slash again, and one more, and save. And now these templates should work for us. So we have show, we can go back, add a new campground. This works just fine, great. Now let's try out the comments new template. So let's click on any show page and add on /comments/new. And we're getting the correct HTML. So now let's actually add the form in here. And I'm going to steal from our other new template, which is the new campground. I'm just going to take all of this actually and copy it. And now go over to comments new and paste that in. And we'll need to change a few things, but we'll keep the same partials, the header, the footer, and we'll change this to be add new comment and save that. And then we need to change the URL here. And our URL needs to be /campgrounds/ and we need the ID of the campground, which we don't have yet. We don't have it in this template. What we need to do is actually pass it through to this template. And we could just pass the ID itself through as a variable and display it here. But I actually want to use the title or the name of the campground as well, so that we can say add new comment to, and then here we could do campground.name, which right now we can't because campground isn't defined. So we'll do that, and then here I'll just pre-fill the code we want to work. Rather than campground.name, we'll add in campground.id. And then we need the rest of the route, which is /comments, because remember, this is the post route to create a comment. So we have this route right now, that's the template we're looking at. And the form on that template, the new template, needs to send a request, submit the form data as a post to this URL. Okay, so we've written this. It's not going to work right now because campground is not defined in the template. So what we need to do is go to the route, the new route that we have at the very bottom here, and we need to find campground by ID, and then we want to send that through when we render. So that's going to be a campground dot, and we'll do find by ID, and the ID is request.params.id, whatever we named it here, and the standard name is ID. And then when that's done, we'll have our callback, error, and then campground. And we'll just check if there's an error. We'll console.log for now. Otherwise, we're going to render the comments new, and we're going to pass in campground. So campground will be equal to the value of this campground coming back from the database. So we'll save this, and we can try taking a look at that template now if we restart. Check if we have any syntax errors. It looks good. We can't just refresh because every time our app loads up, we're actually generating new campgrounds and they'll have different IDs. So what we need to do is go back to campgrounds and then click on one of these and then go to /comments/new. And we're getting a form here. Let's inspect the form, but the first thing that looks good to me is that it's telling me add new comment to Cloud's Rest. So let's inspect and let's take a look at the URL that the form is submitting to. So the form action is set to /campgrounds/ this giant ID /comments as a post, which is exactly what we need. Now we need to make this form have the correct attributes. So we'll go back and we want this form to have comment text. So we'll just call it text for now, and an author, and that's all we need. So we don't need the description that we had, so we'll delete that. And then we'll also change the names here. And I'm going to show you another strategy for setting the names up. Rather than doing them separate, like author and then up here doing text, what we can do is group them together like this. Comment and then square brackets around author, and then comment square brackets around text. And then when we submit this form, it will all be nested inside of comment. So inside of my app.js in the route, I'll be able to extract comment, request.body.comment, and it will already have text and author inside of it. So I'll show you that in just a second. Let's just make sure the form looks okay now. Refresh the page. All right, so we have our two inputs, text and author. We can submit it.